Good afternoon, everybody. I am truly grateful. It's 2:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and we have close to 100 participants. I'm very happy for that because we would really and truly are grateful that Mr. Ronnie, David, Jonathan Suero, and Justin Paul have taken the time. You know, it seems like we all have enough of time with the lockdown, but sincerely, we don't. There seems to be something or the other that comes up that consumes our time. So I truly am grateful that you all have taken the time to come here, especially Ronnie, because I know how difficult it is. You people are used to being on the move. Now to nail you all to one spot for an hour and ask you all questions is very difficult, right? So I truly appreciate it. And I will hand over to Nixon sir and to Chef Prasad, who will be handling this webinar. But I thought on behalf of my entire team, we and my students who are online, very, very grateful to all three of you for taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nixon sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope so each and every one of you is safe and sound in your places. And I wish that we pass through this pandemic with flying this thing as soon as we finish off and we are back into the things of happening what's on the slowdown right now. Now, the title of our webinar itself is Hospitality, No Dearth. You know, so what does dearth means? Dearth is basically scarcity. But we, with the hospitality industry, firmly believe that there is absolutely no scarcity when it comes down to the various different options that we have post our studies. And truly, today we are going to be discussing a few of those aspects. Yeah, we are going to be flying, we are going to be sailing the seas, and of course, we'll be on land also with the three gentlemen that we have with us who will be taking us through their journeys and what they have done. But before we start off with this webinar, I just want to give you a brief about our college. All right, the Don Bosco College of Hospitality Studies has been in operation for the last 12 years. It's located in Vidyavihar, Mumbai. And I'm very proud to say that in these 12 years, we have reached a position where we are considered, and not only considered, we know for sure that we are one of the best colleges offering this course in Mumbai. Okay, so I'm very, very happy to be part of this particular team that we have. You know, it's a great achievement because I've seen colleges that have been in business for umpteen number of years. But the way we have gone about our business and the way we have taken strides and done some things that are totally innovative and different has put us in a totally different league. And I'm passing this message especially to all those new students who are going to be joining us from Monday, that they have made a fantastic decision to join our college. Okay, there are many, many principles that are involved for making this college great. You know, I too have my own set of principles, and the ones that I like the most is what I call as the IPC. Now, don't get me wrong, it's nothing to do with the Indian Penal Code. You know, for me, the IPC stands for I for innovation. And what do we mean by innovation? We are always on the look to find out what exactly is happening new in our industry, in our teaching styles, in the way our college should function, in the way our kitchens as well as restaurants are upgraded so that our students get the benefit out of it. So once they leave the college, they can actually go into an environment and they say that, oh, okay, we have seen this. It has happened in our college. And in the past also, we have had so many students coming and telling us that, sir, when we go for our training, you know, it was not something that was very new that they learned because we had seen all this happening in our college. And this is happening because of the continuous innovation that happens. Take, for example, the current scenario itself, like we are innovated in making sure that we give our online lectures. We are still learning. It's a learning process, but then we are getting better each and every day. And this is how we are actually changing with the times. The P stands for perseverance. We are there. We will persevere till each and every student gets what he is supposed to get and understand what we are trying to tell them. We will be behind them, but all in a good way to make sure that they understand, so that once they go into the industry, they always have an edge. The C is for commitment. Each and every member of our team and our college is committed. There is a word in Hindi, it's called taumr, which basically means for life. So we are not only committed only for your 3 years in college, but we are also committed for life. Anytime you pass out, anytime you guys want any kind of advice or any kind of even just to chit chat, we are always there. So these are three things that are very close to my heart. And these are the things the Don Bosco College of Hospitality is known and what we do. Now, there are a lot of courses that we offer. We, of course, offer the 3 years degree course from the Mumbai University for Hospitality Studies. In addition to that, we also have a whole load of small time courses, which we call as the short courses, specializing in food and beverage service, the kitchen, the culinary arts. We have got the bakery. We have got refresher courses for the guys working on the ships. We have got housekeeping and front office short courses. We also have courses for the so-called people, especially who are from, I wouldn't say lower, but then who are struggling. And we call them as a self-help group. It is mainly aimed at the ladies who would like to do something of their own. So we kind of train them and then help them and become entrepreneurs. And we have seen umpteen number of them who after finishing the course have actually gone out and set their businesses. And many a times when we meet them on the road or something like that's out, they are beaming and saying that, thank you very much for that particular training that you had done, because it has set up our lives, right? Needless to say, this entire thing happens. Now there's a saying, the team is as good as the leader. And we have a wonderful leader in Ma'am Annabelle, okay? A charismatic and a dynamic leader who continuously pushes us, so that we can achieve and take it to the next level, right? So thank you very much, ma'am, for all the support throughout, right? Whether it's in way of any kind of things, you can just approach her with anything and there it is, we'll work on it. And that's how it gets done. To top it up, we also have a wonderful team, with more than 150 years of combined experience, not only with working in the hotels, but also with various different sectors. We have got chefs like Prasad Chef, who has worked in the industry and on the cruise. We have got Melroy Chef from the cruise. We have got Alanka ma'am, who has worked in the airline industry. We have got Andre Chef, Andre Sir, who is basically a world-class mixologist and an epitome when it comes down to beverages. We have got Chef Susan, who happens to be my wife, also heading the particular department with her vast experience when it comes down to industrial catering, teaching, and the works. So all in all, we have so much of experience. And when we part all this to our students, it's a great learning experience for them. And this is what the Don Bosco is, always about giving. So that's my brief about our college. I would like now Chef Prasad to introduce our wonderful panel, and he will start off by introducing Mr. Ronnie David. Thank you, Mr. Ronnie, for taking the time out. Chef
My
Prasad,
pleasure.
over to you. Prasad Chef.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. And to start with, yes, can you all hear me? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So to start with, on behalf of Don Bosco, I welcome all the panelists and thank you very much for taking out your time for our students and give them different guidelines on the different career options that you are excel in, all three of you. So to start with our first panelist, Sir Ronnie David, who has almost 2 decades of experience in the hotels and different parts of the world, including the cruise lines. And to start with, there are a few things I would like to mention about him. Like he is one of my friend. during my career of cruise lines. So thank you very much for coming for that, for the webinar. And about Mr. Ronnie, he has done his HM from Mumbai University, and he started his career with ITC Hotel Grand Maratha, Sheraton, Mumbai. And then Mr. Ronnie has worked also as a butler at Dubai, one of the iconic hotel and the property Arab, and that happened to be one of the tallest hotel in the world and the most iconic property in the world. So he has worked for from 2003 to 2005 for 2.5 more than that years, and then onwards from 2005 onwards, Mr. David has been with Regent 7 Sea Luxury Cruise Lines, and currently he's heading a position of head butler there. Also, there are a few more additional things that he has done and he is associated with. The first one is that he has also done the leadership course from Florida International University, and he's also a member of English Butler Guide from UK, and he has been trained by Mr. Robert Watson, who is the managing director. And the guide, that is the English Butler Guide, also belongs to him, Mr. Robert Watson. So the brief introduction about Mr. Ronnie David, and Mr. Nixon sir will take over from me now. Sir, you can carry on with the next panelist.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Nixon sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Chef. Our next person on the line is one of my favorite students. And it's a great pleasure that I like to introduce both of them. The one common thing with both of them is that both of them have passed out from our institute. Okay, first, let me take you through Jonathan Soro. Now, Johnny, as I always like to call him, right, has been an outstanding student, and it's a bit sad that we don't see his beautiful smile behind that mask, but he has a fantastic smile, right? And he's one person who can put everyone at ease. Okay, he's dynamic. He's always there in the thick of action. Right from his college days, he passed out in 2016. He went through the campus recruitments, got recruited for the St. Regis Hotel, which is one of the most prestigious hotels in Mumbai. Jonathan was selected for what the hotel has called a career track program. This particular program basically picks up a few people who they feel have got the great potential of reaching higher heights in a very short duration of time. So Jonathan was part of that career track program. Needless to say, successfully completed it. So he started off as a trainee butler, but as soon as he finished his particular training, right now he is a butler executive with the hotel. Currently, he is working in the hotel in this pandemic times, and we'll get to know how he is going to work and what kind of shifts he has at the later part of the program. Okay. Jonathan is also a very avid footballer. So half the time when he was not in the college, he was there on the football grounds. Sometimes we had to drag him from there. Okay, and the same thing goes to Justin also. All right. But like I said, he's always positive, has a drive to keep learning something. All right. And he has represented our college in many of the football tournaments within inter-college or whether it is with the university teams, etc. So welcome, Jonathan Soro, to this wonderful webinar. Okay. Yep. Next, but not the least, we have got Justin Paul. Like I told before, Justin is again not only a student of Don Bosco's hospitality studies, but he has been a Don Boscoite throughout. Yeah, he has studied in the Don Bosco School of High School at Matunga, where he's finished his schooling, then came and joined us, and he did a short-term course, like I just mentioned before, the short-term courses, specializing in food and beverage. During those days itself, we knew that Justin had something in him. Yeah, he was very serious, okay, and he was very committed when he was there in the learning curve with us. He passed out with flying colors from our institute, but like I said, flying colors, it was not only with the color part, he also loved to fly. So his always aim was to go and join an airline, which he did. He started off his career with the Jet Airways. Unfortunately, Jet Airways had to close down its operations, and uh, obviously he lost his job because of that particular thing, because the company folded. But like now, even now in this particular time, Justin did not lose heart. Okay, that time period when he was searching for another job, he made sure that he made the most out of it. He did a particular certificate course in hairdressing at the Savio Paul Pereira Academy, came out of it doing wonderfully well. At the same time, he was trying to get back into his flying, and he got that opportunity with Go Air. So today, he's working as a cabin crew for Go Air. Again, due to the pandemic, the airlines are shut down. So again, at this particular time, and this is what I love about this boy, even at this particular time when things are slowing down, he is hyperactive. He is socially active. He is helping his institute in doing their marketing, research, content materials, and he's also helping in a social initiative for hairdressing education program. So this is what is the greatest quality. And I'm sure each and every one in this panel will vouch for it, that the people who make the most out of these kind of opportunities are the one that will keep rising up. So welcome, Justin, to this particular webinar. And Chef Prasad, can we fire away the questions? Chef? I guess Chef is having a bit of a
yes, connectivity issues.
Connectivity issues. Yeah. Okay, pardon that. So since Chef is having a bit of a... Chef, are you there? Okay. We'll continue with this. So Mr. Ronnie, tell us something about yourself and you are currently doing.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me here. I have, regarding myself, I'm from Mumbai and I did my hotel management from Mumbai, and then I started off with working in ITC Grand Maratha Sheraton, Mumbai. And after a year and a half, I moved to Dubai, where I got an opportunity to work for the Burj Al Arab. That's one of the finest hotel in the Middle East, and they say it's in the world too. And after working there for almost 2 years, I got an opportunity to work for the Region 7 Seas Cruises. So presently I'm working as a head butler, and I've been home since March because of the lockdown. And as you know, the ships are down. However, this never stopped me from learning and developing myself. So this lockdown has been good for me, just like how Mr. Nixon said, that you be enthusiastic and nothing should stop you, nothing should come your way from being successful. So I believe in him, and I feel like whatever he said is absolutely true. There's no full stop. There's always learning, no matter what and what your hotel management you are doing.
Absolutely true. So, Mr. Ronnie, can you tell us a bit about your days at the Burj Al Arab? I'm very excited. Now, that's a hotel that I've only seen from the outside, always wanted to go in.
Yes, certainly. It's one of the finest hotels.
But then later on, they stopped that also. So I never got an opportunity to get into it.
Yes,
yes.
Burj Al Arab is one of the finest hotel in the Middle East, and it is one of the parent property is a Jumeirah International, and The hotel is like everything unique in the hotel, and so far till date, even the hotel does not know how much they have spent, because everything is very expensive, from the crystals, from the carpet to the chandeliers to the linen to the upholstery. Everything is unique, and the guests who come there are mostly um, Europeans and the heads of state, and most of the guests whom we addressed there were prince, princess, or we used to address them as His Highness. And so we know what kind of, by saying this, you guys know what kind of guest I'm talking about. And in that hotel, I can just tell you that like nothing could go wrong. Everything was systematic, and we got to learn a lot, where we worked with a lot of nationalities, and we had guests coming from different parts of the world, all the rich and famous. And that hotel literally taught me a lot, where where the hospitality is concerned, from culinary to the service skills to the etiquettes of telephone etiquettes, can be you name it. And it just, you can say it's like a training ground working in such category of hotel.
Fantastic. You know, well, let's go down to Jonathan. Jonathan, can you tell us what is a butler all about, and why is the job very important in a hotel?
So talking about St. Regis, firstly, thank you for having me here, and thank you for the warm introduction, Nixon sir. Pleasure.
Pleasure, always.
So coming to the point, a butler is a one point of contact for all the guests, right? Starting from maybe a shoe shine pickup from the room or the pressing of garments. We do it all out here, the St. Regis. St. Regis basically is a brand which promotes butler service. Right from the start, when it's the first flagship hotel started in 1904, opened by Sir John Jacob Astor. He had introduced the butler service concept at the St. Regis, and we have our signature services that we do. So we have 5 signature services that we do. We have packing and unpacking of luggage. So when a guest comes in the hotel, we meet the guest at the lobby, we walk the guest to the room, we show the guest around the features and everything. We introduce ourselves to the guest, then we talk to them about the signature services. So then first one is packing and unpacking. We help unpack the guest luggage as they come in, and we offer them pressing of garments. So if there is any garments to press, we pick up the garments, have it pressed and delivered back to them. Next of that is we offer beverage service. So we have 24/7 beverage services, and we give it to them on arrival as well. Post that, we have e-butler. So e-butler is basically, we have our business card, which we give to the guest. We have an email ID written behind the card. Also, we have a WhatsApp number. So we can directly get in touch with the guest. If the guest needs anything, they can directly request it through WhatsApp and or email us. And lastly, we have our one point of contact. That's the in-house phone. That's called the St. Regis Butler Service Desk. So the guest requires anything, it's a one-touch button, and our butlers are here 24/7 to assist the guest. So yeah, that's about butler service at St. Regis.
Wow.
Is this job important for us? So the butler, since it's the one point of contact for every small, minute detail. So if the guest is here for an occasion, we are there with the team to celebrate the guest, walk the guests up, introduce, celebrate, and give every possible minute detail to the guest. If the guest requires anything, we are there to assist them aware. So,
Fantastic, fantastic. So you're a one-man army, right? So taking care of each and everything what the guest requires. Lovely.
So we are a team of army. We are
Okay.
a team of the butler service. Yes.
Oh, team of army, right? Justin.
Yes, sir.
What made you choose a career as a flight person?
Firstly, thank you for inviting me onto this webinar. And yes, so the one reason that got me into wanting to fly is so when I was small, at the age of 18, I used to go to the airport and I used to always drop off people at the gate, never enter the airport or like walk into an aircraft or something like that. So I used to always see flights take off, land, and it used to always be fascinating. Like, what would it be inside an aircraft and working inside an aircraft? So when I seen the opportunity at Don Bosco, I remember seeing a flyer that Jet Airways is coming for a walk-in interview, and I said, why not just try to see what it is and get it. So I took the opportunity. I went for the interview. I got in. I went through my training. It was a 3-month training that I had to go through, and it was it's a completely different experience. Like, so when my grandmom got to know that I've never flown for 18 years, she was really excited when she got to know I got my job in Jet Airways. So she took me for my first flight to Goa, and that was the first time I ever seen an aircraft and flew in an aircraft, and it was that was one thing that I really wanted to see, and I was in that moment, and it was amazing.
Oh, fantastic. That's lovely. It's like the dreams that you actually see and you want to pursue those dreams and to achieve it. There's nothing like it. Uh, Chef
Yes.
Prasad, are we on?
Yes, sir.
Lovely. Great to
I
see you
hope
both.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are right
Sorry
now.
about that connectivity issue.
Absolutely. Chef Prasad, you can
Okay.
start off with your
So
questions, please.
I would like to ask Mr. David. Yes, I would like to ask Mr. David. Can you give us an insight on a cruise line butler or how the cruise line butler service is different from other butlers? What is so special about cruise lines butlers? Mr. Ronnie?
Thank you, Chef Prasad. That was a fantastic question. Uh, Regarding working on the cruise as a butler, it's like you have a wide scope of experience, and you have the knowledge, and you have exposure to the best of chefs from around the world, and you have the products that I can tell you, from cheese to the wines to the different types of lettuce, the pastas, the cuisine, the varieties of services that the cruise liner have to offer because of the competition around, and the the in-depth knowledge that you get working on the cruise as a butler is tremendous. And I must say that working on a cruise for at least 2 years and then working on land, you will feel the difference. Working on land will be so easy, and you'll be just like a leader among your team because you have all the information on your fingertips because of the training, all the in-depth training that they give you, and the knowledge that you gain. You will be like a leader among the team wherever you work.
Fantastic. Great.
So true. Yeah, I have felt the same thing when I started and when I left the cruise industry and when I joined back hotels. I felt that difference that what we used to do on the cruise lines is much more like we are at one extreme part when what we are doing right now in pandemic, sanitizing everything. So it has been habituated from us during our cruise line career as well. And we'll be doing the same things what we are doing currently right now. What do you have to say, Nixon, sir, about this?
Absolutely, very true. Like, isn't it? It's like very easy for you guys because you've always been doing this in the past. So it's not something. It's something new for guys like us who had to actually start off all over again. But it's a great thing, and I'm so happy that Mr. Ronnie has said the thing that the cruise industry actually takes you to a totally different level. So when you get back onto the land, you hold an upper hand. Now, there is a slight misconception with a lot of people that people who work on the cruise liners, once they come back on land, they find difficult to adjust to the to working on land. Hotels do not prefer, which is, I'm pretty sure it's a misnomer. There's nothing of that sort. In fact, it adds much more value because you're working under extreme conditions. You know that if there is something that is not there, it's not that you can jump out of in the sea and get that stuff. Yeah, so you need to be well prepared, and this is what keeps you up with your toes up, and to make sure that you are there at all given times offering the best services down to your guests. Right. Chef, Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
give us a brief
Very young.
about our college days.
Okay. So yeah, how should I start with that now?
You can start off with all the bad parts.
Those were like the best days of my life.
Oh, lovely.
Starting from when I just entered the college the first day, we made friends, and through football, we started knowing each other because of football initially.
Right.
And then now all of them are just around the world, everyone working different places. So, and also making good relation with the staff and our fellow classmates was one of the best things that happened during college days. Working together for events, we started off with the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, which was a lovely event in our first year. That was a 2-day event, I remember. And working together as a team made us a part of family at Don Bosco. So Don Bosco was not just a college, it was a family with all our teachers, our classmates being together for every event, from lectures to the football matches on the ground, which we always used to play, even during our breaks and even post our breaks. We did not want to come back to class, but we want to play football.
I know.
But then yes, it was always fun attending lectures, especially yours, Nixon sir. It was really fun. The F&B lectures, I really miss it now.
Oh, thank you very much.
Working in the kitchen was always fun as well. So yes, college life was amazing. We entered college as kids, and we left from there as professional adults, ready to work in the industry.
Very
yes.
good. Very good.
Don Bosco has always been my favorite and in my heart for always.
Oh, thank you very much. It's so beautiful when you hear things like this.
Very well said.
Absolutely. Chef, for Justin?
Yes. So, hello, Justin.
Hello, sir.
So, I would like to ask you, can you share a memorable incident that happened during your working in as an air the cabin crew? One memorable incident. Can you share with us all? Like we also come up during our journey that we have come across, and we have seen the passengers. Maybe the best one, or some are irritating in the sense of like they are too much demanding. So can you share one memorable incident that happened with you?
So it's not only one memorable incident. There are many. So it's like you're flying every day, and it's every day you have one person like that who you get on your flight. It's very rarely like on night flights that you get people like that, because most of the people are falling asleep. But during the day on long flights, it's really difficult. So there's this one memory where there was a passenger. So basically we had landed into Jodhpur, and we landed into Jaipur, and the connection, there's a wire connection that connects to the aircraft that gives electricity. So basically the power was off, and there was no ventilation in the aircraft, and we had to literally run around with water, serving water and handkerchiefs to every passenger. So I remember this one passenger saying that, what is all this and all? We are paying so much money for meals, and there's no AC, there's no ventilation, we are feeling hot. And the one thing that struck in my mind was, I remember in Don Bosco, like a lot of teachers have said this to me, not only one. They've always told me this, that just keep your calm, just listen to what they're going to say, and like process of what you're going to say, and then just say it out calmly and like explain to them. Kneel down if you have to, and then just explain. Like talk to them nicely, and then just let them also calm down, give them a glass of water, give them handkerchief, give them whatever they want. And there was this one passenger that kept nagging, like, what is this and all, like, how can you all do this to us? And why just put the AC on, otherwise we complain to the pilot and all. And I'm like, so then we have to really calm them down. When we reach the pilot's name, we have to calm them down and tell them, like, sir, please understand, it's not our fault, but it's fine. Like, we understand, you can have a glass of water, take handkerchiefs. And that's one moment where I realized, like, you don't make rash decisions, or you don't say anything rash in the bargain. I know, like, even you'll be in a tough situation where you're sweating and you're running around giving water to everyone, but you still look calm and just listen and reply sweetly. And they're always fine with that. So, yeah.
Superb.
Very
Fantastic.
well said.
You know, you rightfully said, like, you know, once you listen to the complaint or you listen to your guests properly, you empathize with them, and then half your battle is always won over there itself, you know. And the calmness in you is what comes in handy in these kind of situations. And it is surely because of the training that you do it. It's very easy to get angry on someone and then regret after you say something which was not supposed to be said. So thank you very much for highlighting that. Thinking this was also part of your training when it came down to our college where you were studying with us. So very good for you to reiterate that particular point. Over to Mr. Ronnie. Mr. Ronnie, can you tell us a little bit about the English Butler Guide? What exactly is that? I believe it's some kind of an epitome in butler service.
Yes, English Butlers Guild was formed.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
was formed in UK, and it's owned by Mr. Robert Watson. And he is the one who is responsible to start a butler service in one of the finest hotels of the world. Can be the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, or the Burj Al Arab, or can be the Raffles in the Shanghai, or it can be you name the top properties, and he was the one who started off the butler service, including the region 7 Seas.
Okay.
So he was the one who started off, and he was the one who would guide and mold the butlers. So when you do a training for 2 years with Robert Watson, when he trains you, and you will get a certificate from him that you are an associate. Once you do a training for 3 years, automatically you become the member of the guild. And if in case of near future, if you don't have any job opportunities, then maybe you can contact the guild and they can place you wherever the job opportunity is.
Wow.
So it's one of the well-known academy in UK, and one of the top institutes which teach you butler service.
So was it something that you had to attend any lectures, or how does this program run?
He would come to our company would contact him and have him to train all the butlers at once.
Okay.
And then he would come twice or thrice a year in the hotel,
right.
And he would be staying with us, and that's how he would conduct the lectures and the presentations and everything. And whatever his teachings were would be included in our SOP.
Okay.
To make sure that we practice what we taught.
And how long was the duration of this training?
We did for more than 4 years, 4 to 5 years. And usually if you do it for 2 years, if you're in the same hotel, and if your company contacts him and he's the one training you, so automatically you become an associate. And once he's teaching you for almost 3 years, then automatically you become the member of the guild.
Okay. Wow.
That's great.
That's something fantastic. That's great.
Thank you.
Chef?
Yes. I would like to ask Mr. Ronnie to continue with the topic, what Nixon sir has just said, that the cruise line industry experience is not counted on hotel or land. So how true is that? Even I have come across this question many times, and those who want to eager to know about the cruise line or want to join a cruise lines, they also ask this question first, that once I left the cruise line, will I get the job on the land or in the hotel back? So, Mr. Ronnie, can you comment on this?
Yes, of course, chef. Just like I told you, the Burj Al Arab was like a training ground to learn one of the first things in the world, can be from food, service, the top clients that we are serving. So once I moved to the cruise industry, I was wondering the is level of the Burj Al Arab, the Region 7s. But then after working there for a few years, I I realized and I learned so many new things. Can be the food, the service, the wine, the spirits, the expensive cognacs, and the, the different setups that we would do to surpass the guest expectations. And after working for almost 15 years, and now I can tell you, I really have a lot of opportunities that I can take, and uh, I can stand out even if I'm among the 10 people going for the interview, and I can, with confidence, I can tell you I can crack this interview. Not because like of my confidence level, but because of the in-depth knowledge that I have working under pressure, and there are a lot of rules and regulation that we follow in the cruise industry, and this is the one that molds you, and you molds you into a better person and a better hospitality professional. So, and we have the people working in cruise industry, they never quit so easily, and most of the trainers have been for almost 30 to 40 years, and learning under them, you really stand out. And I really agree with Chef Prasad what he said, that the experience and the knowledge you gain from the cruise industry does matter. And I must tell you that even if you apply anywhere over here in Mumbai or any other city, you will really get a good position or a good salary.
Oh, thank you very much. So that has
Very
put to
true.
rest a lot of these doubts, because a lot of, like Chef Prasad said, a lot of our students also have this, they are in this quandary. Sir, I've got this job, but then what happens? Now we are thinking about like 10 or 15 years from now when they'll decide to quit. But then right at the onset itself, they want to know, if I quit, if I come back, will I get and all that? And thank you very much for making it very clear that it's the immense exposure that you have and the immense knowledge that you get on this cruise, which can be put to use anywhere, you know. So thank you very much for that. uh, Jonathan, can you please
Yes,
tell
yes.
us an incident which was not so pleasant doing a butler service in the hotel, or a difficult
Okay.
experience?
So there were some difficult experiences. However, it doesn't happen often. But yes,
Okay.
so there was an incident when there was a guest who was supposedly coming to celebrate an occasion in the
Okay.
hotel. However, when they arrived at, I believe, the afternoon or 12 or 2 o'clock, something like that, the room wasn't ready on time because
Okay.
we were completely sold out and the room wasn't ready. So at that time, I was in the lobby. So we butlers have dedications to stand in the lobby as lobby butlers, and some have floor butlers. So I was in the lobby that day, and I happened to meet this guest on arrival. And when the front office associate told me that the room isn't ready, we'll be giving them a different room, not the preferred room they want. So I said, okay, now the guest will be upset since they're coming to celebrate an occasion and their room isn't ready. So what to do now? So as he gave me the key saying this is the makeshift room for them, I'm like, okay, I will take care of it. I walked them up to the room, explaining them about the hotel features and the restaurant, what they can do in the evening. I can take a reservation for them? I can make a reservation for them. So I was explaining all of those. As I took them to the room, I told them that the room isn't ready yet. However, this is your makeshift room. You can freshen up here, and until then, I can offer you some tea or coffee or some juices. You what do you like? So I took the order, got them the tea to the room, everything. Once they were in that room, we got the new room ready. And in the new room, we decorated the room for them. We put in balloons, we put in flowers, we made a petal bath arrangement for them. So we got the room ready for them in a different setup completely, so that they will have an experience once they walk into the new room as if we were getting the room ready for them specially, so that
Okay.
they can see the St. Regis butler service, how it works. So we gave them an alternative room until we get the room ready for them completely with the cake, with everything. So as they walked in, we had a lovely note card for them with a box of chocolates, with a cake, and there were balloons and there were flowers in the room. So that turned around the experience completely for them. And they had a lovely stay after that. So the initial experience was bad, but post that, we as a team, the entire butler team got together and we changed the experience for them. So yes, that was one of the situations that we had as a typical guest who came into the hotel. And
that was wonderful. Like, so it's like turning the tides, yeah. So getting someone who was hassled to a totally overwhelming experience where they just have a great time. You know, I'm sure they also will be going out and they'll be talking about these kind of experiences. And that's the best thing when we give out good services, because like I always told you guys in the lecture, people talk when they get some good service, you know. So whether it's in any industry, any interaction that we have, the moment we give some positive vibes, they are bound to share that with other people, you know. Great. Chef?
Yes. I would like to ask Justin. Uh, Justin, can you can you throw light on what qualities one does need to be called as a flight purser or a cabin crew? What necessary like qualities or what we need to develop as a call or to qualify as a flight purser or a cabin crew?
Okay. So the first thing is you have to be energetic, really energetic. Like you have to be ready to do anything that they ask for. You have to be running around. You have to be on your feet when you're on that flight, however, how many hours it is. You have to be energetic. Secondly, you have to smile all the time. Put a smile, be welcoming, be warm. Be like when someone sees you, they should smile themselves, being like, "Wow, this is such." And what do you? An electric, like it's so electric that everyone wants to smile and enter in a happy mood, and they know like, "Oh, my flight's going to go amazing." The third thing is you have to be very helpful. You have to be ready to listen. You have to communicate well because it's separated into different cabins, right? So there's economy, premier, there's business class. So you have to communicate well. You have to, whatever message you get on, you have to pass on that message really clearly, because if something goes wrong, you're in trouble. And mainly you have to be willing to do whatever assignment you're given, from toilet cleaning to serving the guests to cleaning their puke, everything. You have to be willing to do anything. That's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So the industry look very glamorous, whether you are serving as a cruise line butler or the hotel butler or a cabin crew. You need to well versed with all the thing, right from cleaning toilet to make guests happy to be on their experience or their vacation if you are on a cruise line. So over to you, Nixon, sir.
Rightfully said, you know, and these are your beautiful qualities which we have seen right from your college days. You know, I'm sure smiling and all just comes, even though you are serious in college, but it comes quite natural to you. And now I can see your beaming smile, so it is great to see that. And very rightfully said, the willingness to do anything and everything that has been asked of you to do without actually questioning, just go ahead and do the work. This is one of the greatest qualities. And being energetic, yeah. So I presume so, yes, because a lot of hard work that goes into flying. Uh, Coming back to Mr. Ronnie, uh, Mr. Ronnie, I heard that at the Burj Al Arab, they take great time to understand the guest who is coming in and to prepare themselves for that guest. Can you take us through a journey of what happens when you are preparing yourself for a new guest arrival?
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Nixon. Uh, most of the hotels in India and Middle East, they have the guest preference, which is updated every time when the guest checks in or leaves. And we have the list of preference of the guests that would come for the next day or the same day, and that would be running into pages at times for
Mhm.
certain guests. And all these preferences have been placed are placed in the suite prior to guest arrival, and we have three levels of managers who would come and check this to make sure everything is at top notch.
Wow.
And once the guest comes, the butler is standing at the lobby level waiting for the guest, and you'll have another four butlers to escort the guest so that to make the guest feel special.
Wow.
And once there's an escalator from the lobby that takes the guest up on the upper level, and from there they take the guest elevator. As you go to the guest elevator, you have another three butlers holding the guest elevator to
Oh,
welcome the guest. So the guest does not stop. He just keeps walking, 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 and he will reach the 21st, 22nd floor. And there, if you go, you have another two butlers standing, and one is standing with the cold towels, one is standing with the incense, and one is standing with the welcome drink. So the guests would come and they would do all offer the cold towels and the incense, the fragrant incense, and the welcome drink, and the guest would come in, and then the butler would introduce himself, and that's how they would be like, wow, everything is so fantastic. And
uh,
if
uh,
needed, they would show them the hotel, because the hotel has very nice features. They have the Almunta uh, restaurant, which is right on the 25th floor, and each floor is duplex, so it's almost 50th floor. On the bar and restaurant, both are suspended in the air and just supported on one single pillar. Then they have the underwater restaurant, Al Mahara, where we have the huge tank around the dining tables, where you have the shark and the whale, small whale, which just pass by you and just kiss you and go while you're having enjoying your seafood meal. And
right.
to enter underwater restaurant, the submarine that takes you is a word submarine. So that submarine takes you down to the restaurant. So everything is out of this world, and it's very beautiful. You have the revolving bed in the top suite, where if you knock the door and just say, Your Highness, may I come in? And the guest would not turn. He would press the button. The bed would turn toward the entrance, and he would say, okay, yes, you come in. And he would press the button, and that bed would go back to the normal position. So
Wow.
they have they have such kind of level of service that uh, to offer, and these things you will only experience when you travel
True.
out of the country after a year or two, and then it's like a more wider range to learn, and to see where you fit in, and what more you can learn. The sky is the limit.
Amazing, amazing. I'm just wondering when you keep saying that, like you have got two butlers here, four butlers there, three over there. I mean, say, what kind of a team do you have of butlers? How many butlers are there at working at any given shift at the Burj?
Usually, when I worked working in Burj Al Arab, there were 21 butlers per shift, AM,
Wow.
PM, and night shift. Yes,
Oh,
plus, so that makes 263, and then we have another 15 butlers who were home on vacation, because
okay.
every year you get 1 month paid vacation. So they'll be home, and by the time, so that's for rotation purpose. So they had almost 80 butlers with around 10 team leaders and two managers.
Super.
Great.
Just one more question on the Burj. Is it true that if the guest requests for any particular item, the Burj will go to any extent to get it for him?
Yes, absolutely. It can be a cigar, it can be some flour, it can be some vegetable, or any a variety of fish, or can even be a wagyu beef that's from Japan. The special beef that's from Japan. They breed the cow in New Zealand, and there's a treatment to be done. So they can get this kind of food, fruit, vegetable, or can be certain kind of spirit. Anything, they can fly off from anywhere for this guest.
Wow. Wow. Fantastic. So great
That's
to hear
really
that.
great.
I know. Jonathan, what do
Yes,
you
sir.
see is the scenario? in the hotels currently? How is your hotel coping up with this pandemic? I can see that you are still in the hotel and you're working currently with the hotel. Tell us how your life is currently in the hotel and what exactly you guys do and
So
how things have
currently,
changed.
okay. So post-COVID, when things were, there wasn't, I mean, there was no social distancing. We all used to shake hands. When we used to introduce ourselves to guests, we could shake hands. But now we cannot. We have to just do a namaste. And as you can see, I am wearing gloves and mask because we are not allowed to roam in the hotel or to be anywhere in the hotel without gloves or mask until we step into our room. Only then we can remove it. So this is one thing that post-COVID, it wasn't there. Before COVID, we could be freely, we could smile at people, and now we can't. We cannot show our smiles to anyone. So this is one thing that is very sad, that we have to wear our gloves and masks continuously. And coming to the point of view guest, so we have at our main coach, we have a security that is checking the guest with a thermometer and an oxygen for the body to check. Then we have a sanitizer on arrival downstairs at the main coach. So once the guest comes in, we have a mobile check-in concept, which the Marriott offers. So if the guest is a Marriott member, they have a mobile check-in on the app. So they can just check in directly from the phone. They have to walk into the reception. We have a big glass put up at the reception, at the check-in desk, so that there's social distancing. The guest and the host won't interact between because of the virus. So that is one thing that we have done. So just the key that we have to give the guest. There wouldn't be any paper to sign or anything. It's just on the phone directly. And the passport would be, a picture would be clicked off it. So that's one thing that we are doing. While taking check-in, usually now we have started taking group check-ins because we have our hotel for quarantine. So there are many guests coming in for quarantine and to stay for 7 days. So we take them, an entire group that comes in together. So we have an entire PPE kit that we wear, and to introduce ourselves, we take the check-in wearing an entire PPE kit. Since they do not have the mobile application, we have a bit paperwork to do. However, we have the social distancing maintained. We have it in our in a ballroom so that it's a huge space. Everyone is separated from each other, and one by one we take it down, we get it done. And in the elevator as well, only 2 people are allowed, not more than that. Everywhere in the hotel, there are sanitizers kept. Every area of the hotel is cleansed and sanitized every 2 hours.
Wow.
So that is one thing that we are taking up very seriously out here, sanitizing each and every part of the hotel.
So the housekeeping department is very, very busy, yeah?
Not just the housekeeping, but every department. So if it's in front office, it's the responsibility of the front office associate to get his reception, the desk clean. If it's F&B, it's the F&B person, the server, to get his tables clean in the restaurant. So every person has their own job to do in their own department to keep it clean and tidy.
Lovely, lovely. So good. So good to see that you are taking care, utmost care to make sure that each and everyone is safe. And that includes you guys who are working down there. You know, fantastic, great initiatives that's there. Justin, what do you feel? When do you feel the airline industry will pick back?
The airline industry is already picking back slowly. So there are new things that are coming up where on flight we have to wear a full PPE suit, where we have to wear a shield, we have to keep sanitizing our hands every 5 minutes. We have to wear gloves, we have to wear a lot of things. So besides our uniform, we have to wear a lot of things. But the most, I think it is going to be, we have to get used to this because this is going to be our new normal.
Very true.
Because from now on, this is going to happen till no one knows how long. But now you have to get used to the new rules and regulations and sanitizations, and the most important thing is self-hygiene.
Right.
So you have to be very careful and make sure that you're taking care and you're making sure that everyone else is taking care as well.
Absolutely.
The aviation industry will pick up slowly. It will get used to these norms. We are getting circulars on new rules and new regulations and new formats on how we're going to be working on flight.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing, we have to get used to what's coming to us.
Right. And like I always maintained before, like the hospitality industry, even though currently it is a bit down, but once things open up, this will be the one industry that will start flying again. You know, whether it's flying, whether it is cruising, or whether it's on land. I myself, I was just talking to my friends yesterday, and we are all, the only one common thing we all say is that when the hell are we going to meet? You know, we are all so desperate to just meet with each other. And that is
True.
something that's going to happen everywhere. So once the lockdowns are out and once things are there, and once the vaccine comes in, which is anyhow just a period of time before it comes in, you know, things are going to get much, much better than what we are. Prasad Chef, any other questions?
Yes. I would like to ask Mr. David, like
Yeah.
most of the students might be thinking that the hotels is okay, we go get through campus interview and all, but how is to join the cruise line industry, how to get into it? And also what is really important to know before one can join the cruise line industry? So, Mr. David, can you please give insight on this and
Right.
share ideas to the students?
Certainly. What I suggest is from your while you're studying your hotel management, I suggest that you take up some course, can be Excel advanced or advanced Excel on and PowerPoint presentation, because later you'll be working in the hotel and you won't have time to learn all these things. And while you're working, maybe you can take up a language course. It's necessary to study an additional language, can be French or a Spanish. Like myself, I've learned French for 2 years from Alliance Française Mumbai while I was working in the ITC Maratha Sheraton. So it's always a plan that you will have when you go for the interviews, and especially when you need to work at least for 2 years to get a decent job in the cruise industry. If you just do your hotel management, work for 6 months and just get into the ships, for sure they'll offer you a lower position. But if you want to get in as a butler or any other position, a decent one, for sure you will have to work for minimum 2 years. And while you're working in the hotel, it's not only you don't focus on the job that you do. You see what new things that you can learn, not only of that hotel, but on the international level as well. What are the top wines that they're serving in US or Europe or UK? The expensive cognacs, or the finest cheese, or the meat from where the best meat is coming. So you will have to prepare yourself with all these questions during the 2 years that you're working after your hotel management. And while while you're nearing to your 2 years, I can suggest for you to do the STCW course, that is about the safety and the ship familiarization course. That is for around 15 to 20 days. That I suggest you can do it from the Naval Institute, Kolaba. And once that is completed, you can there are agencies in Mumbai like the Rohi Global, and then we have the Indus, and we have the V ships in Mumbai, and we have the Kamakshi. So these are the one of the good agencies that offer you jobs and which hardly charge you any processing fees. So as you're nearing to 2 years, you can start applying to these places, and I'm sure you can get through.
That's
Okay,
true.
that's really good information. So, to join the cruise industry, one need to get at least 2 years of experience in a good hotel or property, and then actually they can get a good position. That's what you meant, right?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we have many offices and agencies in Mumbai, so we can apply from while we are working.
Right.
Thank you so
Super.
much, sir.
That
So,
was really beneficial because a lot of our students keep asking us
yes, true.
this particular question. Thank you.
Also, I would
Okay,
like to add on,
yes,
like while I was working, I could see a lot of crew who joined were trainees, and when I asked them, I mean, when I learned from them that while they were doing hotel management, they did their internship there. So even while you're doing your industrial internship year, maybe you can opt for doing an internship on the cruise liners. So you have, so you know where you're going to get ahead, maybe 2 or 3 years from now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
But
really cool.
that's news to us actually. So which are the cruise lines that actually offer these kind of training program?
Like in the Spy cruise liners, they do offer the
Okay.
regions, 7 Seas cruises they offer.
Okay.
So I'm not sure about Silver Sea, but I'm sure if you approach the agencies in Mumbai, they can
Okay.
always communicate, and you can put a proposal of the expenses and everything that will be borne by you, the certificate courses, the STCW, which is the must.
Right.
And so I'm sure they won't mind giving the crew a stipend, which will, when you work there for 5 to 6 months, will be the as equivalent to the money that is spent to go there.
Right. Right. Okay.
And this way you get to see the where the ship is. If the ship is in Europe, you get to see the whole Europe. If it's in UK, you get to see the whole of UK and the Northern Isles, or it can be US or Australia.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, that was some fantastic information, because I'm
Really good.
certain a lot of our students right now who are listening to this will be very excited at that particular
Yes,
option that you have just told us about.
very true.
Superb, superb.
I would like to ask to Jonathan,
Yes.
being a butler, apart from your wine and F&B service and front office knowledge and of course housekeeping, how is it important to know about the food or the food knowledge as a butler?
So yes, food knowledge definitely we have to know as a butler. Usually butlers come on.
Cannot hear anything, friend.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, as a butler, you should understand the food and beverage. Usually butler department comes under the food and beverage department. However, at the St. Regis, the butler service is under front office. So we are basically doing the front office job more than the food and beverage. However, we have our trainings daily and every month regarding food and beverage. So we are more into front office, but we have our knowledge for food and beverage as well. And if in case a guest comes up and wants something from the menu, we have to tell them. So we have to know basically about 5 to 10 dishes of every restaurant. And mostly our top restaurants in the hotel, like Japanese cuisine or the Chinese cuisine, we should be knowing a detailed about the restaurant so that we can tell our guests in the hotel whenever they check in. So it's not a necessity that a compulsion for all the butlers to know everything about the food, but yes, some part about the food of all our specialty restaurants, we learn it, and we have trainings on those so that we can tell our guests on a daily basis whenever they come in, and if they have any questions. If we have to upsell our restaurant as well, we talk about the restaurants, we talk about the wine served in the restaurants as well. So yes, that's an important thing to know.
Superb. Very good.
Thank you.
I would just like to throw open the forum to our participants. If they have any questions they would like to ask our speakers, feel free to ask. Anyone? Is there anyone who would like to ask a question to our panelists?
They are on mute, and I think Glenn, who was our ex-student who was in Oberoi, wants to ask a question.
So
I don't know.
Melrose Chef.
Yeah, Melrose Chef, you'll have to unmute Glenn.
Ma'am, they can unmute themselves.
Oh, they can unmute
Yes.
themselves?
Anybody
Okay.
wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself.
Okay.
You can go for it. I'll unmute.
There we have got Glenn.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to ask one question to Ronnie, sir.
Yes.
Since he's my head butler now on the cruise,
Oh, wow.
I wanted an experience from him as well, like because I have moved from Oberoi's and now on the ship. It was really tough for me in the start, but thank God for all his help and all, I managed to survive. But I wanted to know, especially when it comes to wine, now in our Indian hotels, we don't get to see those bottles or the labels where, especially when we go on a cruise. So was it like, what is the experience like? All these names and all became so difficult for me to know, like, as if I've not heard about them. Like,
Hello.
will it take, hello?
Yes.
Ma'am, am I
Yes.
audible enough?
Yes, Glenn.
Yes.
Yes,
Glenn,
yes,
you can go.
continue.
Yeah, continue, Glenn.
Continue, please.
So I wanted to know, like what is the necessary steps I should take, and that's what I wanted to know about it.
Yes, of course. Like example, I'll tell you. I just mentioned earlier that while I was working in Mumbai, I learned 2 years French. That is from Alliance Française. So for the students who are here, I would suggest maybe you can learn French because it's only in the industry where you'll be using it more often in the restaurants where wine, food, cheese, and all the abbreviations are concerned. So, and coming now to the Glenn's question regarding the wine's exposure, as you can see, we have a lot of Michelin restaurant in Mumbai. So you can certainly go on their site and get the wine menus. You can download the wine menus, and each wine you can learn the characteristic of those wine from Google. Once you go through this data every day, not much I can say, just 10 to 15 minutes, just go through these wines, the characteristics of the wines, what kind of this wines will go with which food and course, and what kind of food or sauces can go very well with these wines. So I'm sure you will get hang of it, and a time after 2 or 3 months where you'll be well versed with at least 20% of the wines that you have in your data. And as you know, since Glenn worked on the ship, there are wines from $20,000, $25,000 US a bottle. So I'm sure by getting the menus from the Michelin restaurant, they have the wine menus that they have, and then you search on the characteristics of those wines. I'm sure you'll have a good exposure over these wines.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
That is some fantastic way, and he made it sound so simple. Go through this, do it for 15 minutes. That's the key, right? So, which is quite true. You suddenly start cramming up for 2-3 hours in a day, it's not going to work. But 15 minutes, but then keep the consistency for the next couple of months, and voila, you are there with all the information. So
I can tell you even on the Facebook, like you go on the Facebook or the Instagram, you can follow these lovers and the professors, the sommeliers, and like the LinkedIn, we have this Vinita Jain, who's from Mumbai, who always puts up the post about the wines and the spirits. So I'm sure if you follow them on and give them time, I mean, give yourself little time in Instagram or Facebook, for sure. Every 2 or 3 days, you'll have uh, uh, you will learn something new from them, from their post, which I'm sure you will gain a lot.
fantastic. Great. Anyone else would like to ask a question?
So to Mr. Ronnie, I would like to ask a question. I am so impressed with all that is going on over there. we do have one of our students who's working with the company, Yogesh Kandare. How can our students get to the Burj once all of this is done?
Okay.
And get to your both the places that you're working at.
Yes. So, example, to work on land in Dubai, I'll tell you, like, they won't take someone who's fresher, who have just passed out the college.
Okay.
You, as I told earlier, you will have to work for at least minimum 2 years in the good hotels in Mumbai. And these client, so the client is the Burj Al Arab. This client, they come here at least once or twice a year to interview and look for the hospitality professionals.
Okay.
That's one way to get into. Otherwise, you have the BAA, that is Burj Al Arab.com, the website we can opt for this career. And you not only career, even if you are willing to pay your flight cost or something, you can mail them and tell them that you would like to do an internship for 6 months. So the internship that you do here, maybe you could do your internship there. Or
okay, wonderful.
Yeah. And also I would like to share regarding the cruise liners, in case if you wanted to do an internship. We have a lot of ships that come here in month of November in Mumbai.
Okay.
And they sail to Australia and they come back in month of April.
Oh wow.
So in case if these companies, they are willing to take the interns or the trainees in kitchen or housekeeping or the restaurant, so they can opt to join in month of November so that they don't have to pay the flight cost. And they go around till Australia or New Zealand and come back in month of April and then resume college.
Okay. Which company is this? Is this?
No, I mean, you have to approach the companies, the head office in Miami. That I can guide Chef Prasad later after the webinar. I can give him some more information about this.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
That's great.
Thank you, Rani sir.
It's a pleasure.
So, does anyone have any other questions?
Bradley.
Bradley. Okay.
This question goes to Mr. Paul. As Nixon sir said that he's always smiling, and now I understand. Even I feel the difficulty when it comes, like, you have a guest in front of you, and you want to show them that you are smiling, but then the smile is not, like, you're not able to show that smile out to them, which makes it so difficult. And the guest sometimes also, a smile shows a very great reaction for the guest. Like, they feel welcome, they feel okay, like, it's so bright, my day is going to go well now. That sometimes even when you pass by somebody on the road and you just smile at them, they feel like, okay, yes, today is going to go well. Have you found a way to, like, dodge this problem? So
okay, so basically in the morning, get up in the morning, go work out, get yourself active. Whenever you get time, work out. I'm telling you, work out, it helps you freshen your mind, meditate a little. Just take like 15 minutes of your time, just meditate, and you'll be in a good mood throughout the day. It's always the best thing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paul.
Find that personal space.
I would like to throw some light and answer Bradley. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
What he said, question regarding how do you, when you smile behind the mask, how can the guest see you smiling? But I'll give you a small exercise that you can do. You can record your voice and you can narrate something like few lines that you're talking to the guest without smiling. And the second recording that you can do on the phone, you can smile and talk. And when you listen to the both, you can see that the second recording which you were smiling and talking, how pleasant you were sounding.
Very true.
Very true.
Second, when you're wearing a mask, your facial expression can be eye, your body language, your openness, your positive body language, everything will make the guest feel positive.
Absolutely true.
So
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
And I guess you can also get one mask with a smiling face
Smiling
on the
face.
mask. So you don't have to smile on the mask. Anyone else would like to have any questions? Ask?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Rudraksh.
My question to everyone is that when we say butler service, it is a very personalized and a very heart touching service. You know, you are personally with the guest, you do things for them. So now in this pandemic, how will this butler service evolve or change for the guest?
Mr. David, would you like to answer?
yes, I can answer. Is it okay
Yes,
if I
please.
can?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Go
Yes,
ahead.
as Jonathan said earlier, that butler is a point of contact for everything. So now, even in the pandemic, if you go to see, there are a lot of services that the hotels around Mumbai are still offering. So it's not like the butler service has stopped. This will always continue because of the years of pampering. The butlers have been doing this to the guest. So when the guest comes back, they always come back sometimes for the butlers. So I believe is like this will still continue, and butler is the one who can do many things even outside the suite. He need not necessarily be inside. Can be fixing the excursions, your tours, or can be fixing a restaurant reservation. Can be a shoe shine. Can be a pressing, laundry, or can be any valet service. So there are a lot of things that the butler can still do from outside the suite rather than inside. Obviously, if the guest is willing to have a room service, I'm sure the butler will be more than happy to serve it.
Absolutely.
I would like to add as well to this. As the new normal, we have started using WhatsApp more often. So we are giving out our WhatsApp numbers to the guests as they arrive. So we are giving a direct contact to the guest, which is more personalized. So whenever the guest needs anything, they can directly WhatsApp us, and we are prompt enough to get back to the guest as soon as possible with any request that the guests have. So during this new normal, keeping the social distancing and everything as well, whenever we go to the room, we wear a mask, gloves to give a beverage order or something like that. We place it on the table. We do not pour or anything, but we just place it, and our body language, our personality, our smile, that's more than enough that the guest wants to see during the day.
Absolutely.
That's one thing about it. Yes.
Very true.
And keeping the preferences of every guest in mind. So because of that, the guest tends to come back to the hotel, since the butlers know what they want and they know that they will get it even though the pandemic is on, but their preferences and their requirements won't be forgotten. So yes, that's one thing.
Very true. Very true. Fantastic. Great. Any other questions? So I would like to thank all three of our wonderful speakers for spending their time and offering us such insight into your delightful world, different worlds. Yeah, the skies, the seas, and the land. Thank you very much. You know, it was a wonderful, informative session. You know, I'm sure Chef Prasad will also have the same thoughts as what I am saying.
Yes,
Chef?
very true.
Very
Thank you, each one of you, all three panelists, to give insight on your career. And I'm sure our students have got knowledge of all three different butler services, whether that is a flight purser or a cruise line butler or a hotel butler.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. And I'll ask Ma'am Annabelle to
Yes.
conclude.
I have been listening as I've been going in and out. We are on our last lap of admissions. So people keep calling. I'm sorry. But even then, I was absolutely intrigued Ronnie, I am absolutely amazed at your, your career arch and all that you have put in to make sure that you completely excel in it. I know that it's going to inspire and empower a lot of the students to follow in that path. It takes a lot of work. I was listening to your English Butler program that seems extremely severe, but it obviously pays off. And we can see the fruits of it while you talk and the way you carry yourself and all that you've achieved at the Burj. I truly am very grateful that you've taken the time, but I'll be even more grateful to see you in person in college once all this is done, before you sail off back again, because I'm absolutely convinced that life has to go back. It'll just be definitely more sanitized, definitely a little distant, but that's okay. And it will get back to the merriment that we are used to. This is just a reboot, controlled alt-delete, that's all. And we'll reboot and get back to normal. To Jonathan, with or without a mask, your eyes are just pure delight. I don't need to see your smile, I can see it in your eyes. I am so proud of you with the way you are carrying yourself, with the way you're handling your job. And I know that life has given you a couple of real severe bumps along the way, but you have just triumphed. And I have to say that your video with the sabering of the champagne is something that we love to show all the students. Keep up the good work, and we also want to see you in college. You do come and visit us, so please come and say hello. Justin, I don't know, I am so glad that you found your niche and that you are continuously reinventing yourself no matter what, whether it is with the airlines, with your the exercise regime and the exercising app, and whether it is with the hairdressing. I don't know, you still have so many more fingers, and there'll be lots more things that you will be doing, I am sure. But I'm so proud of you and I wish you well. I'm waiting to see you hopefully on the app, but also in college, so that we can all together, we can make sure that you get a little bit of our Don Bosco College hospitality that everybody talks about. Again, thank you very much to Nixon sir and Chef Prasad. Thank you very much. You've done a wonderful job with making sure all these three are present with a wonderful webinar. To Chef Melroy and the two co-hosts, Justin and Rahul, and to the entire webinar team, Susan ma'am, Roma ma'am, Andre sir, and my entire team back there who's watching. To all the students, I cannot understand if you don't get inspired. I'm inspired. So if I can, I'm sure you can too. So thank you very much, and we'll have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you at our campus. Absolutely. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.